Straight out of the kettle. Oh fuck! I just spilt my coffee. No! What have you done? Spilt my coffee. Oh fuck. You know what as well? I had visions of me spilling this coffee. I swear to God I had it. I had a vision that I was going to spill the coffee. When I went over there to get something, I knew I was going to come back and spill my coffee. And what did I do? I spilled my fucking coffee. But there's some left. My channel and welcome back to another Mental Health Mondays. Today we're going to do a mental health Q&A. I asked over on my Instagram for any mental health related questions and we're just going to sit here, chill, answer some. I was going to have a coffee but you might have seen I've just spilt that shit everywhere. So, I mean, the floor's had a coffee and it probably deserved it because I've already had 3 today. So yes, I have a lot of questions on my Instagram to answer. I'm really sorry if I don't get through to your question. A lot of questions are very similar anyway, so if I don't say your question explicitly, then it might just be because I've answered it before, or it's just I couldn't get to it, basically. So without further ado, let's get into the Q's and I will give you some A's. So the first question is, did the CBD oil that you tested in your vlog actually help? Now, I'm gonna go get this. Mine looks a bit different, just because I had to put a different top on it because Albie chewed the top of my bottle, if you can see. Look, he chewed it all, so I had to put a different, like, applicator on it, but it still works the same. Did this help me? Yes, this has helped me. So this is the Premium Jane Premium CBD oil. I was sent this and I was so grateful to be sent it because it was something that I was really intrigued about. Like, I wanted to try out proper CBD oil for a really long time, and when they contacted me I was like, I manifested it, that the universe is telling me that this is a good sign. So yeah, I've been trying it for like 4 weeks now and it's been really good. All I'd use it for is mostly before I go to bed. Around 7 o'clock time I tend to get anxious because I'm preempting what I'm going to do the next day or like what is coming. That's kind of where a lot of my anxiety stems from. But yeah, I use it before I go to bed and I tell you what guys, I have been sleeping like a fucking dream. It has been beautiful. Like, I sleep so well now, and this is coming from a girl who has had insomnia for months and months on end. I sleep 7 to 8 hours a night easily, like without any qualms, and that's really like a big deal for me, and it's definitely helped with my anxiety. It just chills me out, and I'd really recommend it if you want to try out CBD oil. They kindly gave me a discount code, which is Marie, coupon code Marie, to give you 20% off of their products. And yeah, if you are interested, then I will leave it all in a link below. Definitely go check it out. It's good shit. Praise the Lord for CBD. A lot of people have asked me about what it's like when you first go and see someone who's a professional about your mental health. So I thought I'd just chat about my experience with that because I think that can help a lot of people. So basically, when I made the choice to go and see the doctor, it had been about 18 months of me like self-harming every day, my parents not knowing, and then once my parents found out, they took me to the doctor. Honestly, when I first went, what happened was we went into the room, I don't really remember it. I think I was in my pajamas. I don't think it was a great experience, but they basically just chucked some antidepressants my way, and the antidepressants that I went on didn't really help me. It was citalopram, and that just personally didn't really mix well with me. But they just, if I remember, they just asked me a few questions and I didn't really answer. I let my mum answer because at that time I was so like, I don't know, I just was so scared about talking to someone about it that I just let my mum kind of answer for me. So I'd say if you're going to see a professional for the first time, take someone who can support you. Even if it's a friend, just take them so they can support you through it, because it is difficult and it is tough. I've heard about other people having to fill in questionnaires and that, but I didn't have to do that. And when I went, it was kind of tricky because I was 17. I was like 17 and a half, so in 6 months time I was going to be an adult, so they weren't sure whether to refer me to CAMS or to just go straight to adults. In the end they went straight to adults, but the waiting time was literally like, waiting time was something like 3 months. But it is difficult, but if you take someone with you, I really think that would help. Professionals are there to help you, and I just would say to anyone, if you are struggling, go and seek help, go and talk to someone. The waiting time in your area might be completely different to someone else, so it's really important to go and just find out, know whereabouts you are going to be, and just kind of weigh up the scenarios, because things only get better once you start speaking to someone. And these people, like doctors and that, they can refer you to a community mental health team, who then can refer you to therapy or get you a CPN, and it's all these things that need to take place, but the sooner you do it, the sooner it's going to happen. Someone asked, which diagnosis of yours have you been struggling with the most, or is it a mix of them all? I would say the diagnosis, ironically, I've been struggling with is a mix between psychosis and depression, because I went to the psychiatrist not that long ago. I haven't actually told you guys. I went to the psychiatrist about a month ago. I said to him that I'm not sure if I fit the criteria for BPD anymore, and he said he's not sure if I do either. So it's one of them awkward things where I'm like, do I have this or do I not have this, because you're not really telling me. In the end he said that I have severe depression, and I was like, what? Do I? Because honestly I don't know. Like, I get times where I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling great, but I think because I'm very high functioning, that's where the problem kind of lays, because I'm high functioning, yeah, I have depression, so I'll be so lethargic, but my mood won't be necessarily low. It will be a mix of like high and lows. So it's really awkward. I'm like, is it because I'm on medication that I don't feel depressed, or is it like, am I depressed? And I go through times and I'm like to Pip, I'm like, you know what, you know that month that I went through and I didn't really speak to anyone, I didn't want to talk to anyone, I isolated myself completely? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, I think I was depressed. And she's like, oh my god, really? That's so weird, I thought you were depressed too. But I really struggle with the diagnosis of depression, just because I was depressed when I was 16, and I know what it feels like to be like super in the midst and in the pits even of depression, and to not be on any medication or not have any therapy or not have spoken to anyone. And just because I'm not like that now, I'm like, is my depression just showing in a different way? Who knows? And then again, the psychosis. And then again with the psychosis thing is, I just don't like to think about it really, because it just cripples me a bit. I just don't think about it. Because I'm not having to deal with that at the moment, I just don't think about it, which is probably not the best thing to do, but that's what's happening. Someone asked, how do you cope with your bad days? What strategies do you use to help you? So I want to do a whole video about what I deal with on my bad days, but just for like a quick brief thing, I normally plan my days out prior to when I spend them, if that makes sense. So like on a Sunday I'll plan my whole week out. So if I'm having a bad day, I tend to like make sure that I'm still doing what I would normally do, and I know that might sound really difficult because I'm not the type of person who for a long time I haven't experienced depression to the point where I can't get out of bed. So this is coming from someone who's quite high functioning, and I just want you to keep that in mind before I say what I'm going to say, because not everyone can do this, and I totally understand that, and don't feel bad if you can't do this, because it's just a personal thing and everyone has their personal struggles and personal like limits and how far they can go. But for me, I tend to just get up, have breakfast and shower every single day. That's what I do every single day without doubt, because I know that after a shower I can then evaluate if I'm feeling good or bad, because sometimes I'll wake up and I'll think, oh, I feel really shit, but then once I've had a breakfast and I have had a shower, I'm like, oh, I don't feel so shit. Strange. But on other days I will have a shower and I'll be like, you know, no, I still feel shit. And when that happens, I kind of debate what I'm gonna do, whether I'm gonna carry on with my day, which I normally do, because I still have to go to work, I still have driving lessons, and I still see friends, and all of these things make me feel better. And I've learned that the hard way. I've learned that even though I'm introverted, I need to have other social aspects in my life in order to feel okay. So I will still go about my day normally, and then afterwards I normally feel a bit better. On other days though, I will just you know, write the day off and be like, you know what, I can't come out today, I can't do it. And on them type of days, I really take time for myself. I will sit in bed and watch YouTube. I will do some art and do little things like that, like I'll do art, or I'll do some like word searches, or like print photos off from online and stick them around my room. Things like that actually really help me. I make sure that I have a tidy bedroom. That is one thing. I try and maintain a tidy bedroom every single day, even though at the moment it's a shit tip. But I try to have a tidy bedroom, because then I know if I'm waking up the next day and my room is tidy, then that's one less thing that I have to do if I'm feeling bad. So it's little things like that that just keep me going. But as I said before, everyone has their different limitations, everyone has their different standards that they can uphold, and don't feel bad if even brushing your teeth is a triumph that day, because I totally understand that some people really struggle with hygiene and really struggle with just getting out of bed, and being social is like the last thing that they want to do. So that's just what I personally can do, and it's taken me a long time to get to this point. I'd say back in like 2016 I would really isolate myself constantly, but since meeting Pip I've learned that being social is so important. So just keep working on yourself, that's what I'd say. If you're having more bad days than good, then that's when you need to reach out and speak to a doctor or a professional about how you're feeling, just because you don't want to suffer and keep suffering. It's not worth it, it really isn't. There is a life out there that you can go and enjoy, and if you are just having bad days, it's just sad for you, it's really difficult for you, and you don't want to keep going through that. Someone asked, do you experience psychosis in day-to-day life? Love you, by the way. I love you too. At the moment, currently no, but there are times when I get stressed that I do experience psychosis. Not full-blown psychosis, it will either be voices or delusional thinking is something that I really struggle with. Not day to day anymore, but when I'm stressed, that is something that really takes hold of me. But at the moment, no, I am doing okay. I'm currently inpatient, so do you have any tips on the things to do whilst you're in hospital? Yes, I do have tips actually. When I was in hospital the first few times, I would not really have a routine. I wouldn't uphold myself to any standards. I would just, you know, lie in bed, sleep all day, and not really bother with anything else really. And hospitals can get really boring because there's not much to do. Obviously with lack of funding and things like that, it means that, I'm really sorry that this side of my face has gone dark, it's just because the sun's gone in and I don't have a ring light still. It's coming today, but I don't have one at the moment. what was I saying? Yeah, hospitals are boring, but when I was in hospital the last time, I mentally was ready for it. And this is something that I want to also stress, is that there are levels of being ill, okay? When I was in hospital previous times, I was very poorly to the point where I was not able to do anything, and at that point I was like getting changed and making sure that I was dressed that day was a good thing, because I was not in the mental, I did not have the mental capacity to do much more. However, I feel like when you're getting near to maybe the end of an admission and you're preempting coming out, which I also want to do a video on. I want to do a video on about coming out of hospital and how it feels, and I might ask Pip if she wants to be in it, just because like she can get her perspective too. But I would say my tips were that every single day I would write things that I wanted to do that day, and they were very simple things. They were mindfulness, reading because I had the capacity to read, they were having my daily gratitude, and also having steps in, so some form of exercise. So in hospital, exercise is something that you very much lack. I remember when I was in my first admission, on my phone it told me that I'd done, I think, like 180 steps that day. 180 steps in a day, like seriously? But in my last admission, I would try and do 10,000 steps every day, which was quite a big thing to do, but it really benefited me, because what I would do is I'd put my music in, which is another thing, listen to music, and don't listen to sad songs, please. Please don't listen to sad songs. I used to have pretty much a bad playlist of just sad songs, and it really dampens your mood if you're trying to be productive and you're listening to sad songs and it's bringing you down. Don't fucking do it. Just listen to I'll link my Spotify down below, and you can listen to some bangers instead, some throwback tunes which will really get you in the mood. But also I would listen to podcasts and things like that, and that would really help me, because I felt like I was being productive. I feel like if you feel like you're being productive, then it makes it a lot easier once you've come out of hospital to then reintegrate into the community. So yeah, they're my tips, are just like setting yourself little goals that you can do every single day, get yourself into a routine, make sure that you're eating right, make sure you're talking to staff, make sure you're taking your medication, make sure that when you have your ward round, you're actually having an input into what's happening in your care plan, because that's another thing that frustrates me, is that they can just put you on anything and just say, oh well, you have to do it or else this will happen. Just be like, no, I want to have an input into what is actually either going into my body or going to happen in my life. Do you feel like your friends ever censor what they talk about around you as they feel like it could hurt you? Honestly, no. I personally don't feel like they do that. If they do, no. If they do, no. If they do that, I have not picked up on it, because I just feel like they don't. I feel like we have that kind of like friendship where they can talk about anything and I can talk about anything and it'd be fine. I don't really, like, honestly, even though I talk about mental health a lot on social media, in person I don't talk about mental health that much to like my friends and that. Like, we don't talk about it hardly ever. It's not a topic of conversation at all. So I feel like they don't censor me. Like, I remember one time after I'd been in hospital, I invited my friends round and they were catching me up on everything that had gone on. Like, this was when people were still in sixth form and that, so they were telling me all the like deets of what's happened and like who's got with who and like what's happened at parties. And then I was saying something and my friend Yen was like, mate, where have you been? Because I didn't get the joke, because I hadn't been there to get the inside joke, and everyone was just like lol, because I'd been in hospital for like 5 months, and you know, like silly things like that. It doesn't sound very funny, you probably had to be there, but you know what, it was quite funny at the time. But yeah, I feel like they don't. Honestly, I really do. Honestly, I really do feel like they don't. Honestly, I really feel like they don't.
What is English?
What is your favourite feel-good activity? My favourite feel-good activity is walking. It makes me feel good. How did you tell your wider family, grandparents, cousins, etc. about your mental health? I personally did not tell them. My parents told them, and I think that was a lot easier because... Sorry, the lighting is really driving me mad. That's better. Yeah, I feel like that was a lot easier than me telling them because it's kind of a big thing to say. But yeah, my parents actually told my wider family, and if you're lucky enough to have parents that are able to do that, then I would say utilize that. If not, then the best thing to do is just be as honest as you can be. Just make it normal, because things like mental health, everyone has mental health. Everyone, more than you know. Like, I was so shocked when I found out about certain people's mental health problems when I was going through it and they opened up to me, because I was like, I would never have guessed you struggled with mental health. But everyone has mental health. Everyone has, some people have good mental health, some people have worse mental health, some people control their mental health, some people can't control their mental health. And family and that, a lot of people understand more than you think. That's what I'm gonna say, is that not everyone's bad and people understand more than you think they do. So just go in, tell them that you've been to therapy, tell them that you're on medication, tell them that you've struggled with certain things, and just don't feel ashamed about saying that, because there's nothing to be ashamed about in saying these things. It's very much just a case of you are poorly, you are struggling, you need help, and you need some support, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing that you should be ashamed about that. So yeah, I would just say, go in there, say it from your chest. Someone asked, do you think that studying psychology in uni would be triggering to you? No. That is a good question, but honestly no. I think it would be even more interesting for me. I feel like I'll be able to like find out more about myself and how my brain works, and that just really interests me, and I don't think it would trigger me. I don't think so anyway. I can't really say because I don't know, but honestly I don't think it will. And the last question I'm going to finish on is, how do I deal with the I'm not sure I want to get better part? And I think this is really, really important. I know a lot of people have this or go through this, and honestly the way that I can say that you got to get through this is you have to experience things that bring you joy. Without experiencing things that bring you joy, you can't relate to feeling well or feeling better, because you're so consumed by feeling bad. So if you can do any little things that fill you with joy, even for a slight moment, that is what's going to spur you on to wanting to recover. Wanting to recover is hard because you know how much you have to do and how hard it is going to be, and how much fight you're going to have to put in. And I know for so many people it's like, I don't think I have any fight left. I don't think I can actually fight this off anymore. But honestly, the amount of times that I've thought that I've had no fight left in me, and then I turn around and I have so much more fight in me, like, there is always hope inside you. You just gotta dig it out under all of these horrible negative thoughts and negative feelings. There will be hope inside you. And I remember when I keep saying when I was in hospital the first time, because for some reason this video is just keeps bringing that up. But when I was in hospital the first time, this professor, he said to me, listen to your wisdom. On the 24th of January 2016, he told me to listen to your wisdom, and it really triggered my recovery, because I thought, fuck yeah, like fuck yes, I do have this wisdom and this hope and this fight inside of me, and I'm the one that's going to change things. And it was not an easy road, as you all know. It's not been an easy road, but it's been a bit rocky. But it's important to know that being told that you are capable of changing things is what can spur you on and help you make a difference in your life. But by being told that, I just thought, you know what, I can do this, I can actually do this, and I can actually make a difference. And then I would go out and I would see my friends and I would see their lives, and I would just think, I want to have that. I want to have that normal life. I want to have that fun aspect to life where, you know, I wanted to have the mundane life of just getting up and going to work and walking my dog and moaning about work. Like, I wanted to moan about something that wasn't myself. I think realising that there's so much more to the world than just you is a big thing. And I'm not saying that it makes you a selfish person, but for me personally, my mind was only focused on me at that time, because it was like, I feel bad, I'm dealing with this, I shouldn't have to go through this, it's unfair on me. And it got to the point where I was just so addicted to all these negative thoughts that I had to try and release that. And honestly, I feel like you can get addicted to negative thoughts and just feel all consumed by these negative emotions. But by experiencing joy, by realising that there is wisdom and hope and growth and happiness inside of you, that you are the person that can change things, is what is gonna help you get past the point of saying, I don't want to get better. And also thinking about, well, if you don't want to get better, what is your life going to consist of? Because another thing that really scared me into recovery was seeing elderly women in the hospital that I was in, and just thinking, oh my gosh, like I don't know why I feel emotional about this, but I was like, I do not want to be that. Like, I don't want to be, because they would tell me that they were like 60 years old and they'd been in and out of hospital their whole life, and I just thought, I don't want to be a revolving door patient. I don't want to be this, I don't want to be known as the depressed person. I don't want to be known as the ill auntie who's always in hospital. I want to be Marie, and I want to be me, and I want to use what I've gone through for good, and I don't want to be stuck in hospital wasting my life. Honestly, that really scared me into recovery, really did. So I think that would be my tips really, is that just understanding that you are in control, understanding that there's so much more to life than mental illness, understanding that you are so much more than mental illness. That's the things that are going to help you. And on that deep note, because I felt like that was so deep, I'm going to wrap up this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Be sure to follow me on Instagram if you want to keep up with any updates about videos and that. I want to try and go live on Instagram more, but I get scared because I'm like, oh my god, what if the people I know watch me? But if you guys want me to go live on Instagram a few more times, then I will do that. I mean, I haven't done it yet, but I will do that. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed. Be sure to like the video if you have, subscribe if you're new, because I upload mental health videos every Monday, and yeah, I'm gonna love you and leave you. Please stay safe, and I shall see you soon.